Hello and welcome to Midday Report here on TVP World. I'm your host, Marie Cato. The first group of Polish citizens evacuated from Israel arrived safely in Warsaw. The Polish Deputy Foreign Minister, Henryka Mościcka-Dendys, welcomed them back. She also announced that on Thursday, the evacuation of another 65 people from Israel is planned and that the plane will take off from Amman.
Poland's Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski thanked the Deputy Minister for her efficient coordination of the evacuation on social media platform X, adding that this is how effective diplomacy works. Many of those who have safely returned on this first flight expressed relief.
I definitely feel relieved. The trip itself went very smoothly. I am very grateful to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for organizing it so well. We took off from Tel Aviv yesterday after 1 p.m. Now we are in Warsaw. I was with a friend because it was a business trip. He's German and he is still stuck there because his country did not take care of him and he has to find his own way back through Amman.
Bergalem, a seaside tourist district, is always buzzing with life, but came to a standstill after the attack on Iran. People were actually sitting at home. There was no one on the streets. Haifa itself was under heavy fire. Bergalem was not that much, but we received alerts on our phones 2 to 3 times a day. After 10 minutes, sirens would go off and everyone would go down to the shelter.
On Monday, a Slovak Air Force aircraft successfully landed in Bratislava, evacuating 30 Slovak citizens and 43 other nationals from the crisis zone. The Czech diplomacy is also organizing a repatriation flight for citizens who want to return home from Israel. A special plane carrying 66 passengers evacuated from Israel landed at a military airport in Prague on Tuesday morning. On Wednesday, the Hungarian Minister of Defense announced that 87 Hungarian nationals and 1 American citizen were successfully evacuated out of Israel. Also, a plane with Bulgarian evacuees from Israel has landed in Sofia. Aboard that aircraft were also citizens of Slovenia as well as the United States. They were welcomed on the tarmac by Bulgaria's Foreign Minister Georg Georgiev. Israel launched massive attacks on Iran on June 13th, saying they were targeting nuclear and military facilities.
While Polish and other European evacuees from Israel are arriving in Warsaw, Poland's foreign ministry is facing a tougher challenge in bringing home Polish nationals stranded in Iran. A small group is being evacuated, mostly embassy personnel and their families.
A group of Poles is currently underway from Tehran to the border with Azerbaijan. We think that they should make it in time for the flight that is scheduled to depart at 3 o'clock in the morning. The aircraft will carry 13 Polish nationals, and 1 person has chosen to stay in the Azerbaijani capital, Baku.
Ever since Israel launched an attack on Iran last Friday, Iran has retaliated by firing more than 400 missiles and hundreds of drones at Israel, as reported by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Thus far, 24 people have lost their lives in Israel, and at least 224 individuals have been killed in Iran, according to state media.
While some residents of Israel and Iran continue spotting missiles flying overhead, others are too busy evacuating from major cities. Following calls from Israel and U.S. officials, the people of Tehran began leaving the capital, causing heavy traffic. At the same time, those residing in Tel Aviv and Haifa were advised to evacuate by Iran. Shortly thereafter, the U.S. Embassy in Israel announced that it will be closed until Friday, as Israel and Iran continue trading blows. Moreover, the Iranian Mehr news agency claimed Iran has launched Fatah missiles toward Israel. According to Tehran, the Fatah-1 missile is a hypersonic weapon traveling at 5 times the speed of sound. Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, issued a warning on social media, telling Israel, quote, "The battle begins."
Donald Trump has posted on social media, quote, "unconditional surrender," referring to Iran, of course. He also said that the U.S. will not target the country's supreme leader, at least not for now. On Tuesday, Trump warned that Washington's patience was wearing thin. He said there was no intention to kill Iran's leader Ayatollah al-Khamenei for now. However, he posted on Truth Social that, quote, "We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding," end quote, implying that he is an easy target. President Donald Trump arrived back in Washington early Tuesday after cutting his stay short at the G7 summit in Canada due to the ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran. According to some American media outlets, Trump is contemplating joining Israel in strikes aimed at Iran's underground nuclear facilities. The reason US President Trump decided to cut short his attendance of the G7 meeting in Canada has resulted in much online speculation. However, economist Witold Orłowski thinks that the actual reason for Trump to leave early is much simpler.
He left in such an unexpected way that you can find even in the media, in the internet, some guesses that maybe the United States was to enter the war with Iran last night or something like that, because otherwise you can hardly understand what has happened so important that Mr. Trump came to Canada Sky and then left in the middle, at the beginning, in fact, of the conference. I mean, nothing really has happened. So actually, it seems that the answer is much simpler. I mean, this meeting, Mr. Trump didn't want to have this meeting.
The G7 summit in Canada has concluded, unveiling many surprises. The agenda was disrupted by the escalating conflict between Israel and Iran, prompting US President Donald Trump to leave prematurely to address the crisis. Here are some key takeaways.
The G7 was one leader short, following the U.S. president's surprise decision to leave the summit early to return to Washington. It meant that Donald Trump missed a planned meeting with Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. A major topic on the summit's agenda were the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East. The 7 leaders called for de-escalation of hostilities in the region, including a ceasefire in Gaza. However, they stopped short of calling for a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Also during the summit, French President Emmanuel Macron said he is determined to increase pressure on Russia to accept the immediate and unconditional ceasefire. The statement was quickly echoed by the Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, who announced that Canada is launching a new package of sanctions against Russia.
With our international partners, we're launching a major new package of sanctions on individuals, on companies, on vessels, the Shadow Fleet, to exert maximum pressure on Russia. We're also sending over $2 billion in funding for drones, ammunition, armored vehicles to help Ukrainians defend their territory, as well as a $2.3 billion loan to help rebuild the infrastructure in that country. And take a moment to reiterate our condolences given the barbarism witnessed overnight in Kyiv caused by Russia.
Ukrainians in the capital of the country are mourning people who lost their lives in yesterday's Russian airstrikes on Kyiv. According to the latest reports, at least 28 people have been killed and 134 have been wounded. The Russian strikes damaged buildings and infrastructure in 8 districts of Kyiv, with emergency services still searching for survivors in the rubble. Many of the deaths occurred in the Solomiansky district when a Russian missile struck a 9-story apartment building, destroying one section. The 9-hour-long attack saw Russian forces launch 472 drones, including 280 Shaheds and 2 Kinzhal ballistic missiles at Ukraine's capital. Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko said that Russia also used cluster munitions, which have been found in one area of the city. In a video posted to his Telegram channel, Klitschko also declared June 18th a day of mourning in Kyiv. Flags on all municipal buildings are being flown at half-mast, and all entertainment events in the Ukrainian capital have been cancelled. Poland's National Security Council convened on Wednesday to discuss the country's energy security and the upcoming NATO summit. President-elect Karol Nawrocki attended the meeting, marking his first appearance at a high-level session of this kind. At the National Security Council meeting, outgoing President Andrzej Duda emphasized the urgent need to address Poland's energy security, particularly following the recent power outages in Spain and Portugal. The Council is also preparing for the NATO summit later this month, with a focus on strengthening transatlantic ties and supporting Ukraine's NATO aspirations. With energy stability in the spotlight, the discussion also included Poland's plans to build nuclear power plants and integrate renewable energy sources. Poland's defense minister has blamed Russia following GPS disruptions affecting civilian drones and aircraft. The suspected electronic jamming has raised alarm over the security of northern airspace and key infrastructure. Our correspondent Sasha Farbach was in Świnoujście and has this report.
Now, in the last few days, there have been reports of drones out of control along the Baltic coastline. Small drones crashing into the sea or spinning at various speeds out of control. Now, this has caused concern, and this has also caught the attention of Polish authorities. And now it's been very much looking that this has now been confirmed as the actions of GPS jamming, very likely pointing their fingers at the Kremlin. Now, authorities have been concerned and very much also pointed to the vulnerability of certain critical infrastructure on the Baltic coast. But authorities have also said that they are ready for anything.
Several weeks ago, a special safety committee convened to address this issue. General Maciej Klisz, the operational commander, prepared a series of recommendations for military aviation. We also provided all the information to civil aviation, flight control, and the Polish Air Navigation Services Agency. We are witnessing these disturbances. They are occurring over the Baltic Sea, affecting our NATO allies in the Baltic and Nordic countries. We are responding. According to our sources, these actions are related to the Russian Federation's activities, including sabotage.
Also in recent days, Polish authorities have cautioned the public not to fly any private drones for some time, to give the authorities more time to investigate if there is a danger or not. And we had a chance to also speak to locals and tourists on the border region here between Poland and also Germany, see how they feel about this recent development. And the responses have been met with both concern but also being dismissed.
Up until now, I hadn't even thought about it. It never occurred to me to think about it.
We're afraid. With so much insecurity around the world, we're worried that something might happen here too. We're not afraid. We feel safe.
Now, ultimately, it's not the first time that there's been GPS jamming problems. This has been effective, very much emanating from Russian sources in the Kaliningrad Oblast, very close to the Polish and Baltic border. They've been looking at various signal disruptions, looking at navigation, also air traffic, now also drone signaling. Now, here in Świnoujście, for instance, there have not been any cases of this yet, but it is a critical point here, a very important port and where logistics hub, one of the largest LNG and currently the main LNG terminal, for instance, for Poland, just a few kilometers away here, and also various cables, subsea cables. So right now the authorities are saying everything is safe here, but will remain that authorities, the government, NATO officials, and the public will need to be vigilant in the near future. That's Sasha Farbach from Świnoujście, Poland for TVP World.
Poland is gearing up for its annual Arabian horse season, a showcase that stretches from June's Arabian Day races in Warsaw to August's 5-day Arabian Horse Festival in Janów Podlaski. For breeders and trainers behind these world-famous bloodlines, the coming weeks are less a holiday and more a round-the-clock labor of love.
The festival takes place in August and includes a national Arabian horse show, the high-profile Pride of Poland auction, and stud farm parades in the heart of Janów Podlaski. Internationally known for its horse training, and training Arabian horses is no easy task.
It's a 24/7 job and only for real enthusiasts.
Before that, Warsaw's Służewiec racecourse hosts June's Arabian Day, where purebred speed made spectacle in the prestigious Europa Prize. The build-up is intense, but the payoff can be global. Polish-bred Arabians consistently fetch top prizes and trophies abroad. Whether they are parading in auction rings or thundering down the home straight, Poland's Arabians carry centuries of heritage. and the passionate professionals determined to keep that legacy galloping ahead.
And on that lovely note, we wrap up Midday Report. Thank you so much for joining us, and stay tuned for more on TVP World. Goodbye.